Cheers, Lewis. Well, a lot of people say to me, Tymchak, that's an unusual name. Where's it from? And I say to them, my dad. And they say to me, no, what I mean is, and I say, let me tell you an interesting story about my dad. Because he came from Ukraine and he lived way out in the sticks. And one day as a young man, he came across a feral horse that he tried to tame. And during the process, he was thrown from the horse. And when he landed, he hit his head so hard, he was knocked unconscious. When he came round, he had total amnesia, couldn't remember a thing. And his family and friends told him stories about who he was and where he'd come from, what he'd done, to try and jog his memory. And he told me many years later that because he had no emotional investment in these stories, that if he didn't like one of them, he just ignored them. Or if he liked one, but it wasn't quite right, he felt it didn't quite suit his personality, he'd change a part of it to suit his personality. And so he learned to write a different backstory. Eventually, his memory returned, and he was fully recovered, but it had a profound effect on him, remembering that period. So when the Second World War occurred and he was displaced, and he found himself, after many adventures, in England without a penny and barely able to speak the language, he remembered that period and he thought, I'm going to have to reinvent myself again. So he did. He had a passion for clocks and watches. So if anybody asked him, what do you do? He said, I'm a watchmaker. Now, he had to do manual work in the meantime to pay the bills. But if anybody asked him, what do you do? I'm a watchmaker. So eventually people would start to give their broken watches to him, say, could you repair this? So he would. He repaired them and he gave them back to them. Word got around and he got more and more work until eventually he got so much work he could give up the manual work and he was a watchmaker. So by using that story, he achieved what he set out to do. He achieved his passion. He was a watchmaker. Now, this ability to reinvent yourself is going to be the #1 qualification that all school leavers are going to need. Because with the advent of AI, mechanization, that kind of thing, the job market is going to be destroyed. The 3 R's are now redundant. They're going to need the 3 C's: creativity, connectivity, confidence. Creativity, that's the ability to make something or make something happen. Because in a world full of consumers, if you can demonstrate you're a producer, you're going to stand out. Connectivity, that's basically your network. People you know, your friends, colleagues, who can help you achieve your ambition. And vice versa, you can help them using your skills to achieve their goal, what they want to do. And confidence, that's the ability to be able to sell yourself. Because if you've made something, you want to tell people about it. And in a world full of noise, the only messages that are going to get through are the ones that have a very strong signal. So the more prepared you are to be able to sell yourself, the better you're going to be. Now, I've reinvented myself more times than I care to remember. I've been an artist, I've been a filmmaker, a published author, I've been the compere for Bettakultcha. Now, this is a great example of what I'm talking about because it's the 3 C's. I wanted to learn the skill of being a compere, but I had no experience of it. So who was going to give me a job doing that? No one. I had to invent the event. So with a colleague of mine, Richard Mickey, we created this event. I got involved because I specifically wanted to do the comparing. Now, Richard Mickey is a marketing specialist. So he was in my network. So he used his skills to get the event incredibly popular. And then I learned to be confident on stage as a result of doing so many gigs. So this ability to reinvent yourself, anyone can do this. You can do this, and you're going to have to do this in the future. So imagine that you've had total amnesia and you've woken up, and What would you think your passion is? What backstory would you like to give yourself so that you would feel happy in what you were doing? So if I suggest that you learn a lesson from my dad, and if you're going to create a story for yourself, you're going to reinvent yourself, make sure it's a story that gives you a happy ending. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can see others on the Bettakultcha YouTube channel. Subscribe now and you'll be notified when new ones are uploaded.